Hello and welcome to Emerald Creations Crafting with Gina. Today I would like to show you a tutorial on how to make a hinged card. I'm focusing still on the tag buffet stamp set along with the DSP from Tis the Season from the mini catalogue 2020. So it's incorporating some paper piecing technique just to show you what you can do with an image, which if you're not keen on colouring in and you like a little bit of fancy cutting, then this will be right up your street. So I'm just going to show you that it's a regular card, but it has a square image on the card, and your sentiment and insert is a square size as well. And it's basically because this is hinged, this is scored at 4 centimeters and stuck together, and therefore it gives you a square card, but it goes in a regular C6 envelope. So I'll just show you my measurements, and we can get putting this card together. So for my base card, I'm using garden green card, and I have cut my card to 29 centimeters. So it's 10.5 centimeters wide by 29 centimeters long, and I have scored it at 14.5 centimeters. So that's the base of the card. And then to get the hinge, I'm going to score, and I'll show you how I do that. I'm going to score both pieces of card together, and I'm taking my edge of this card here to 4 centimeters. Okay, and then I'm going to give this a good crease so that it will go through both sides, and that's basically what we do for the hinge part of the card. So I'll get some tumble glue, multi-purpose glue, and I'm just going to add a little bit of glue to the center of this, and just stick it together. Okay, like so. Okay, and then what you can do is bring this back and give this a crease like so, and that's what will give you your hinge. Okay, now the DSP, I have cut the DSP by 10.5 centimeters, so I want it the full width of this, and I've cut it by 4 centimeters, so 10.5 by 4 centimeters, and I'm just going to add some glue again. With all our designer series papers, this is a 6x6, this particular pack of paper, but they've got, in this pack of paper, one side of it is green and the other side of it is red, so it could be cherry cobbler or it could be real red, but sometimes you have I have a problem of knowing which side to stick down because both sides are so pretty. So that's the hinge part of it. Okay, so we then want for our layers real red. So we need two, one for the outside, one for the inside. So two real red, 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. When I'm doing my layering, as you know by now, I work in centimeters, and I layer and cut my well, I cut my layers 1/2 centimeter smaller every time, and that gets you a perfect equal layering. The fact that I score or cut my card to 29 centimeters means that you're working with 14.5 centimeters, and therefore it's easier to work it down, whereas RA4s are 29.75 or something like that. It makes it a little bit more difficult to work with the layering. So I find that by cutting it down to 29, it makes it a lot easier to cut with the to cut card for layering and matting. So I'm going to cut, or I'm going to stick the two real red layers on now, and then that leaves us the Whisper White to work with. So it means I'm less likely to lose card on the table. So, and I'll just do the insert as well while we're at it. Here we go. And by using the wet glue, as I've said before, it gives me a little bit of wiggle room. So that's the insert of the card, okay? So now for the paper piecing. So what I have done for my front of my card, which you can see here, if I leave that here, then you can see what I'm doing. I'm actually going to stamp the images on my Whisper White card to start off with. It just makes it a little bit easier to add your DSP. So I'm going to stamp directly one, okay? And then I'm just going to go up a little bit for this one, like so. And I'm going to add the sentiment while I'm here. Okay. Like so. And I'm even going to do the two little bits of holly. No. Okay. So next is you take a piece of your DSP. Now I've actually got this strip here. I wanted to show you. So this is my strip of card that I'll be using for this hinge part of it, and it's 4 centimeters wide, and it's full 6 inches long. But if you cut it to 10.5, you've still got enough room for your bobble to be stamped on. If you cut it close or mark it close to the edge, and I'm just going to stamp the bobble on my real red piece of paper, and I was going to do the holly as well. Where did the little holly go to? There it goes. And I'm just going to there. Okay. But if you wanted to cut off your 10.5 centimeters first of all before you stamp, then that would be good. So now we're going to do a little bit of fussy cutting. So I am cutting on the outside of, if you can see, the outside of where I have inked, put the ink to the paper, and I'm going to cut round, and I move my paper rather than my scissors. I think it makes for smoother edges, and I will want to cut this in pieces then once it's fully cut out, but we'll just cut out the whole image to start off with. paper that I love sort of papers with little ditty patterns on it, and this would be one of my favourite sheets in the whole pack, I think, nearly. Okay, and then I'll do the two little hollies. I think I might stick these on straight away, then I won't lose them, because that's something that could happen very easily. Put one there, okay, and then where did the other one? Still on the sheet of paper. Do you see what I mean? Could you lose it very quickly? I actually find cutting quite relaxing. It's like in every hobby you have a favourite thing to do. So I'm going to put those on before I lose them, just the holly, and just a little blob of glue directly onto the image that's on the card, not too much. And then I guess it's the right way. There we go. And then there. So they're safely in place. I'm not going to lose them. There we go. Okay. So I'm just going to cut out the red shape bobble now. As I said, I cut out on the outside of the image. And go around. This is something that you could do actually in front of the TV at night. And before you would know it, you would have enough cut out of one sheet of paper to make a stack of Christmas cards. So there we go. And then what we want to do with this shape, these two shapes, are we're going to cut them off in sections. So I'm going to cut the top little bobble off, or the bobble off, should I say. And then I'm going to cut the second line down. And then the same with this. So I'm only cutting out the middle section of the bobble. And again, if you cut exactly the same way with this one, then you will be able to piece the two images together. Like so. And then just for the top bit. Like that. Okay, so what we're going to do is stick them all on. So I'm going to put the glue directly onto this card, onto the Whisper White, not too thick, and like so. Oops. If you do put a blob on it like that, you can spread it out with the top of it without adding any more glue to it. So that's the glue for it. And now the fun begins. Who does not love putting pieces together? So I'm going to stick that bit on. So what we basically want is, there's the top of my bit there. And we're going to start off with red. And then add the green layer. and then add a red layer, like so, and finally the green layer, like so. And you can, because you're using the wet glue, you can squidge it up a wee bit. So, how's that? And that's your first bauble done. Okay, so start off with the green top. Add that, and then add your red layer. And then add the green layer. Like so. And then finally the red layer. And that's your paper piecing done as easily as that. As I say, just be careful when you're cutting that you're cutting on the same line on each bauble, and then you can marry up the two. And that's why it makes it look very Christmassy. So I have pre-tied bows. I didn't think you want to watch me tying bows ahead of it. And I'm just going to add them with some little glue dots. I'll just put it, fold them over slightly, like so, and attach the gold ribbon to it. And I'll do the same. I think my next bow's a little bit large, so I can tie it a little bit smaller. So just pull it in a little bit, and then cut off the tails a bit, make them a little bit shorter. Now, there we go. Okay, and then I'm just going to, if you want to, you can add a straight line of a pen. I'll show you how to do that. If I had a green pen handy. And go for the fine tip end, and then just draw a little line, simple as that, and that just gives it that it's hanging down, like so. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue again. And add it to my real red layer, like so. I'm going to add some little red berries to my holly. Which just brightens it up. Okay. So for the center piece, or my center of my card, I have stamped some greenery in the corner just to brighten it up a little bit. And my sentiment, with love for you. The ink is garden green because my card is garden green. And then just some real red for some little berries. We have 3 little berries. I'll just stamp these in real red, like so. I don't think I need any more than that. Okay, and finally just add this to my real red layer, and that's my hinged card made. So if you like square shapes to work with, this little card is ideal because, as I said, it fits into a regular C6 envelope, but you've got the square image as your centerpiece, and it sits like so, like that. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed the tutorial today. Thank you very much for visiting with me. I look forward to seeing you again with another project. Cheerio for now. Bye bye.